Kia ora guys, how's it going, and welcome back to the channel and another episode working on the beta truck. If you haven't seen the last videos, we rescued this truck from a field, got it back on the road and started modifying it. In the last episode we gave it a suspension lift, put the 33s on and did the guard chop, and as you've seen by today's title, today we're doing some tube guards. So I'm super excited to get into some fabrication on this. Fabrication is my favourite thing to do in terms of truck builds, and up until now it's just been plugging away at all the boring mechanical jobs, but today we do some fabrication. So it's probably a bit of a weird order to do it in. I mean, it needs tube bumpers and a cage, things like that first. However, the truck's coming up needing a warrant and the tyres currently stick past the guards, and also I've got some stuff coming that's been laser cut and that's not showed up yet. But what we can do for today is the tube guards, because that's just going to be all good old grinder work and pipe bender. So with that, I reckon we'll take a look at the design and yeah, get into building them. Rather than flares, we're going to make extensions but out of tube. The nice thing about that is that if we lean on a bank, the tube will hold the body of the truck off the banks and things like that. So what we're going to do is we've got some pipe here. Essentially we're going to build some mounts to hold the pipe out. We're going to go 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then essentially just run some tube between it, link it all up, and then we've got some flat plate to put on the on top as well to fill in the gap and make it look all tidy. So in terms of the design, everyone goes up and across and down. It's pretty normal. However, I wanted to do something a little bit different, so we're going to go up and then angle the what would usually be the flat. We're going to angle it up with the angle of the bonnet. It gives it a bit of a different aesthetic look, and also gives it almost a look of like being in motion even when it's sitting still, the angle. Quite a cool look. I've seen it done once before on a pre-runner over in the States, so I thought it was pretty wild, so we'll do it on this as well. But with that, we're going to take the guard off, build our horizontals and some mounts, and take it from there. I reckon we actually do 100 from the back. So now that we've got the guard off, we can take a better look at how we're going to mount it. And to be honest, I had a few different thoughts about how to do it, but we've come up with a game plan. So I've got this metal here. It's 50mm by 3mm thick, and we're going to make a couple of big spreader plates just to spread any load across it nice and evenly, which will then weld this to. And then same up there, and from there we're then going to, so those are our two top mounts. In terms of the front mount, there's a couple of holes here which we're going to utilise, and then we're going to do a big 8mm riv nut just in here as well, which will hold our plate that we can then attach the rest to. And then when we come all the way back down to here, we've got this plate here. This will be seeing very little load because this, where it mounts in here, is going to be tucked behind the outer skin. So we don't need to worry too much about it. So a few 8mm riv nuts and we'll be sweet. It's really this area here that's going to see all the load, because we're going to have the tube sticking out at its widest point. So it's going to be like a shear load coming through here. But yeah, that's the game plan. We're going to start drawing up some plates and start cleaning this up so that we can weld to it. Alright, so here's the first plate we've made. We made one of them for the other side as well, and I got some hardware, so we're just going to thread this into the factory holes and then mark out for the extra 2 holes, which we're going to drill out and put riv nuts in. This area is not an area that's going to be getting direct impact. As we mentioned about before, the load's going to be up here, so we're going to be doing something stronger up here. But down here, a couple of riv nuts with the factory mounting holes, that'll be more than enough. So we'll whack that on, drill out the hole, and put the riv nuts in. So now that we've got the front tube mounted securely, we're going to move on to the back one down by the passenger footwell. So what we've got here is it's all marked out, and as you can see, this just sits on like so. Really important, before you go drilling holes, make sure you check what's on the other side. So we've taken the trim out and we've confirmed that where we're going to be drilling, which is just here, there isn't anything, it's only higher up. So that's all good. That means we won't be going drilling through any wiring or anything. So I'm going to jump on, drill a pilot hole, and then we'll put a riv nut in there and we'll mount that up. We're just going to mount it with one bolt for the time being, just so that we've got a little bit of flexibility, and then we'll tack the tube on, and then we can start working out the angles to try and get the tube guard running the way we want.
And squeeze!
Now that it's started, right, and then tube goes there. So we've now got the back one on as well, which means the next step is making double plates for the crash beams. So we're going to make some plates up that'll be 2 3mm plates that will be stacked, one of which will be plug welded all over to the crash support, and then it'll have some captive nuts welded on the back so that the other one can be bolted to it rather than to this thin panel steel. It'll be going to 3mm plate. 3mm plate will be more than enough. Well, I hope it will be, and because of how much area we're spreading it over, it'll really spread the load so that any impact gets dispersed evenly and doesn't just try and rip one area.
Who did that up? And then we're gonna weld them together.
Hear them. So they can hear you.
Oh, we're gonna weld them together
In pairs?
in pairs.
Yeah. So while I've been mucking around, starting to put plates on the other side of the truck, Ilks has made 8 doubler plates for the crash supports. So we're now going to just tack them in a couple of spots in pairs to hold them together so that all the holes we drill will be identical on in each pair. This morning I shot into Bunnings, grabbed a bit of weld through primer, and what we're going to do just before we continue on those double plates is where we've taken the material back to bare metal, we're going to flick it on there and there so that we can weld through it, but keep making sure that the material is coated so that we don't get any rust starting. This truck's already got enough rust, don't need to get any more rust in it. We'll also put it on the back of the doubler plate that gets welded to the guard. Anyway, I'm going to clean that up with acetone, flick some paint on, and then we'll continue work on the doubler plates. going on here?
Ah!
You're gonna do the final one?
Yeah.
Well done. I'm a wizard!
Ta-da.
Look at that, fess up.
Woo.
And then, yeah,
Yeah.
that one goes there. Those are our plates, guys.
Ta-da.
All ready to weld, except we need to flick some weld through primer over the back of them. Right, so that's the doublers done, well tacked into place anyway. I can't believe quite how long that took, it was a lot of work, but I'm really happy with the result. Anyway, the next step, we're going to take the wheel off the truck so that we can measure our distance accurately from the front to the back, and then what we'll do is we're actually going to draw up the tube that we want to bend on the shed floor, giving us a 1-to-1 scale drawing of what we're bending so that we can literally make a bend, lie it over top of the drawing, and just work away at it like that. That way there's no guessing, and yeah, it just makes life so much easier. So with that said, let's get that wheel off and get to prepping for some tube bending. That is 969 millimeters. Minus, that's 5 there, meaning 85. So I need a 135 degree bend and a 115, and that was testing my Year 9 trigonometry skills to the maximum. Right, 11 degrees. Is 11 degrees. So now we can do some maths, and yeah. I hate maths, but we can do some maths and start drawing it out on the shed floor. So that's our 40 degrees. Right, there we are. That is our shape of our tube guard. Right, so we're about ready to bend the first tube now. I'll just quickly show what we've done. I just do this for the sake of easiness. We've drawn reference marks in black 100mm along the whole length of the pipe. We worked out our first bend's going to be at 400mm, and we've marked that on the outside so that when we're bending, we can see that. So we'll set up the pipe bender and do that bend.
Oh, it's getting close.
Right, so we're perfectly good right there. I'll just add a little bit more. I've come out 211.5. Well, it's day 3 of doing little half days on the tube guards, and well, the weather's pretty average outside. It is raining, and yeah, it's going to make today a bit more fun. Anyway, we're ready for the second bend. So I've marked it all out and set the angle, so we'll go ahead and bend the second mark on the tube guard. Right, so I've got it just roughly held in place. The next thing we need to do is make sure that we're keeping it all on the same plane. So this angle here can't be up or down if we want it sitting perfectly level. So we'll grab the digital angle finder, pop it on there, and make sure we're sitting level. After a lot of mucking around, we've got it sitting at 0.1 of a degree, which I'm happy with. So we're going to take up more tension and check that it doesn't rotate, which it has, but only a hair. So now I'm going to commit to that. You can see that they line up perfectly, those two bends, meaning that we've got them on the same plane, which is exactly what I was after. Now for the moment of truth. Two identical tubes. Here's a bit of inspo for you. Well, after probably a good 20 minutes, half an hour of fettling, we've got the tube sitting exactly right. So it's got a nice wee taper inwards as well as up, down. Looks really aggressive. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. So I'm going to jump into tacking that in place. That's pretty awesome. Started making a pipe to sit just down in there. Obviously it's too long right now, but we'll chop that down and it'll sit in there. And then Ilsa has gone and taken the bracket from the back off, and we're moving it forwards because unfortunately my original guesstimation was quite a ways out. So we're gonna have to re-drill the holes in the guard and pull the second doubler plate forward. So Ilsa's got the centre punch and she's working on that now. What a gem. So off camera I went ahead and made the two cross beams or cross support bars there and there. So I decided to go with 25 nominal bore pipe, seamless for that, just because I had some lying around. But the reason for going 25 nominal bore is so that once we put the flat plate sitting on top of it, if I do it really gently because it's just held in by friction now, you can see it makes a nice level edge. So we'll then fill the V that it makes with weld, and we'll be able to grind that back and it'll look seamless. Fast forward ahead a weekend and I have been cranking on this thing all day. As you can see, here is the side that you've watched me do, and here we have a near identical side. I've had the angle finder on it. It's within 0.2 of a degree, and it is about 1mm different spacing between those points. So about as identical as you're going to get in the backyard, so I'm super chuffed with that. Anyway, now that we've got the side all sitting tacked together, I'm now going to pull the truck up, take one of the wheels off so I can get full access, and I'm going to weld as much of it on the vehicle as possible. Obviously there's a lot of fixture points on the vehicle, and any warping from the welding that happens is going to make trying to line up all those bolts an absolute pain. So I'm going to go ahead and weld all of it on the vehicle so that it reduces any warpage. Overall, pretty happy with the welds, how everything's come out, looking pretty good. There's one really good burn to the foot I got, but yeah, overall, pretty happy with those welds. So obviously I didn't do underneath. I feel like I've got enough weld that there shouldn't be too much warping going on. So just to make it easier, I'm going to take the tube guard back off and weld upside down. The tube guards are welded out. I'm super stoked with that. Something wild, something different. Quickly, I know I'm probably going to get lots of questions. I know I already have on Instagram about why am I doing this, not scrub bars. For those of you who don't know what scrub bars are, they're just a bar that goes over the guard, connecting your front bumper to your rock sliders. Mostly just because fully personal preference, I think they look pretty garbage 99% of the time. I've seen very few vehicles which they actually complement the look of, in my opinion. You're welcome to disagree with me. I know most of the internet will.
And it's off.
There we are, guys. All ready to weld out the underneath. Oh, this sucks. Well, I tell you what, I'm definitely not in a rush to do that again. Except I still got to do the other side. But anyway, it's all welded together. Don't look too closely. Did not have a very good time, but it's definitely strong. The plug welds will help, and there's plenty of surface area welded. So I'm just going to jump on the grinder, clean this side up, and then turn the truck around and we'll do the other side. Behind me I've thrown the guard back on. It's looking good. Next up is the very tricky job of notching the outer skin to go around the tube guard. So what makes this tricky is that there's so many different angles involved, different body lines, bits that step out, bits that jut in, and to try and scallop everything so that this guard smoothly protrudes out from behind this guard. It's going to take a lot of work, so I think how I'm going to start is by just getting some paper and taping it to the door here. Lots of pieces of paper or card, and then roughly working out a pattern and then copying that across onto the door. Right, well, it has been a lot of cutting cardboard, just taking a bit out at a time, but I'm pretty happy with the shape I've got there. As well, I've been working on the tube guards for a little bit this morning. Haven't been bothering filming because I just kind of wanted to get into the creative zone, I guess, and yeah, focus on getting this guard chop how I wanted. So since you last saw it, I've made some modifications as to the chop and how it sits. Basically took a lot of more material out of there and up there. So I'll show you how that looks, but before we do that, I'm going to copy that chop across onto this guard, which has just got the original chop from when we went to the razors. So I'll copy that across best I can, work away at trimming it out so that it fits up nicely, and we'll throw that on. I've got it all trimmed up and looking really good. All ready to go and put flat paint in to fill the gap. Oh! You'd think that I just tested that, but no. Oh no, it changed to 0.1. Righto, well we're really committed now. Right, well it's looking pretty good. I'm pretty pleased with that. Ended up having to use both myself and Ilsa to do it. So Ilsa's was on the tack welding, done well, apart from just one rogue one, but that's alright. You did well. But yeah, no, it's looking good, so I guess we'll throw the guard on and see how it looks. Yeah? Stoked. Well, after a lot more grinding and a lot more fettling to get the guards to go back on, I am super stoked with the finish on this. Check that out, that edge is looking really good. It's just a small gap the whole way down, which we will fill, but not this evening. And on the other side, again, it's looking awesome. This is the side Ilsa ground down and she did a beautiful job of it. Overall, the truck looks awesome, the vision is coming together. Oh yes, that looks awesome. Three. M6 button heads, and these should just thread in there nicely like so. Button heads, in my opinion, are a really tidy, professional looking piece of hardware, so highly recommend using those, especially on something like this where, I mean, a guard, bolt through your guard is not the most sightly thing, so if you can do something to make it look a little bit tidier like a button head, yeah, can't go wrong. Fairly subtle, but very effective, so that's just going to stop the guard rattling all about. There will be a piece of rubber trim going along the edge of here to fill in this wee gap that we've got going on, and just to stop any chance of vibrations. This is really solid now. There's no chance of that moving around. I'm not going to bother doing anything more than just those wee tacks, because it's only just to stop the panel bouncing about, nothing more. Righto, so that's all the sanding done and dusted. There's definitely a few low spots still in there, but I'm not going to bother about filling them. I just wanted to get the worst of it, and the low spots all seem to be on the inside of where the guard sits, so I'm not too concerned. Anyway, next step is flicking some paint over it. I've got a couple different paint colours, but I'm thinking I'm going to go with like a dark grey. I really wanted to go with a gunmetal that kind of matched the wheels. However, finding some gunmetal has proved really difficult without going to a specialty can, and I don't want to do that because then it's a pain for doing touch-ups and things like that. So I think we'll just do like a dark flat grey, and hopefully they come up looking pretty good. Righto, well, the paint's on. To be honest, don't know about it yet. The colour, definitely was hoping it would come out darker than what we've got, but it is what it is. It's very, reminds me of primer, to be honest. But we'll let it dry. I'll do the other one. We'll let it dry, and we'll reevaluate it once we throw it up against the truck. been an absolute mission to get the guard on. The tube guard just did not want to go on. All the heat from when we welded the top plate on, I think must have pulled it because we could not get the holes to line up. We had to drill a couple new mounting holes and oval a few out, but we got the guards on. They're super strong, so I'm really chuffed with it. Still deciding on the colour, but I think it's growing on me actually. Bit of a weird colour combination, but not the worst. Anyway, to tidy up this edge, I mean, you're never going to get an absolutely perfect finish. So we've grabbed some of this. This is just 14mm rubber trim, and it just pretty much goes over there, and we'll fill it with RTV as well to hold it on. We'll run that around the edge of the guard, kind of give us a bit of an edge to make the guard stand out, make it look better, and most importantly, stop any final chance of rattling. Righto, there we have it. After a lot of weekends work, a ridiculous amount of work in fact for the amount of material involved, we have got the tube guards done. I am so incredibly stoked with how it's come up. I'm very, very proud of it, and it looks totally different to anything else I've seen. It ticks all the boxes in terms of functionality, and yeah, just looks wild. We did have a little bit of a battle refitting the guards after I took them off for paint. The heat from the welding had unfortunately pulled it a little bit, so we did have to redo a couple of the mounts, but all is well now. It is secure, and yeah, I'm sure we'll not have any issues with strength. Obviously this has been a longer video and a little bit different to usual, but let me know down in the comments below what you think of the longer video format, and also what you think of the guards. This has taken a number of weekends to get this achieved, and that is where the videos have gone. It's not that I've not been filming, it's just been a lot of time going to this. So yeah, leave a like as well, I'd really appreciate it. Share this all around. I know it's something different to what you see on most discos. I wanted something different, and I've definitely got that, so I'm chuffed. And yeah, this brings us one step closer to the Enduro race, which is in only a couple of weekends now. So the crunch is on to get this thing race ready. So with that, we'll catch you all in the next one. So with that, hit subscribe to stay tuned for all the good stuff we've got coming. We'll catch you all in the next one. Cheers guys for watching. We'll see you then. What was that?